With so many different platforms,
Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube,
and their purposes evolving daily, navigating social media can be, well, complicated. Welcome to the Social Media Sucks podcast from Cupco.
Social media. Really sucks.
Where we unpack the latest trends and help remove the suck from social media.
Welcome back, guys, to the Social Media Sucks podcast. Long time no see, but we're back, stronger than ever. And today we have Mikkel Thomsen doing marketing at SOUNDBOKS, and we're so happy to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
And
thank you.
As always, Chris.
I'm always here. Yeah.
Chris covering us. I say that with
I'm
excitement.
your sidekick. I have to be here.
No, you're the anchor, actually.
Am I?
Yes.
I don't know about that. I think that's.
I'm just swimming out there.
Okay, good.
So, nice to have you.
Yeah.
Can you
thanks for
tell
coming.
us a little bit about your role at SOUNDBOKS and a bit about yourself?
Of course. Yeah, my name is Mikkel. I'm 27 years old, live in Copenhagen. Have lived here for, basically more or less since I joined SOUNDBOKS in 2015.
Great.
Went to high school with the guys who started it, built speakers with them at high school. Went out gap year traveling. They, in the meantime, founded SOUNDBOKS. Asked for a job. When I came back, they offered me a job building speakers, and then
Great idea. I love that.
showed a lot of managerial potential. No, I just I asked for an office job after.
Yeah.
They agreed to keep me around.
Great.
And
Nice.
I've been there ever since, and today I do. I'm on the communications team, brand comms team.
Yeah.
So I do everything from like brand partnerships to social media marketing as well.
Cool.
Right now we have Sina on our team, who's actually leading the day-to-day SoMe, but that's what I've been doing for the past 2-3 years.
Okay,
So,
great.
But it's great that your role also just kind of evolved during
It's
your
super fun.
lifetime
I mean,
at SOUNDBOKS.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my SoMe days, but I also enjoy the post-SoMe era of my professional career.
Yeah.
What's
So
that
you've
like?
taken it up a little bit higher, like helicopter view on a lot of the marketing activities and.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit.
okay,
I think.
great.
I mean, we basically went from, I think we were 2-3 marketing guys back in Silkegade when we had like this apartment-looking office, and I think we were 10 people. Back then, we were all doing everything, which
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
That's what you do in your
just
startup, right?
Now
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Slowly, just
Yeah.
take one thing off
Yeah.
at a time.
So you guys have definitely taken off, right? Like the journey's been quite interesting to watch, at least on our side of the table as well. Like seeing also how the marketing has progressed and all the stuff. Sorry, that's me, my stomach. And then seeing how also you guys have really sort of have a voice on social, at least, and that's quite interesting. I think that a lot of brands are a little envious maybe of what you guys have achieved and sort of been able to carve out for yourselves. So that's quite cool. Yeah.
How are you in general using your social media? I know it's probably progressed a lot, but for now, how do you use it? How do you utilize social media? How do you use your platforms?
I mean, it's really, I guess, as with any other company our size, like very multifaceted. Obviously, I've like been in the owned side of all of our social media efforts, and then we have a full digital paid media team and e-com team that like are driving everything that makes us able to not having to worry too much about that part, which gives us a lot of free time to just build brand equity essentially and like grow the brand, grow the awareness. What we use mostly is TikTok and Instagram. I think especially Instagram has been the main focus for the past 4 years. I think we sat down and said, okay, we've done this Facebook thing, but we can see,
Potential.
we can see potential in Instagram, and that's really where we can build a brand. I think it was around the time when the algorithms changed quite a bit as well, and like we just couldn't keep doing the thing that we were doing at that time, and then dove right into Instagram and have been exploring that and growing that ever since.
That's good. Tell me a little bit about then the tradition the transition, but like also adding TikTok to the mix, because I think that's also a lot of brands, like we're doing, a lot of TikTok these days, and I think a lot of brands are sort of seeing the light. You guys are probably one of the first, like at least in the Denmark space, to like really say, okay, we're going to jump on TikTok and really do something there. How was the consideration to do that? Was it a large discussion, or was it very much like, of course? Or give me a little background on that.
I mean, I think in the beginning of building the brand on social media, we were like really conscious of not taking on too much. So I think we've always been biased to like to stick to one thing at a time.
Right.
But obviously growing up and maturing the brand and like getting more capacity, more resources, I think we've had to adapt a little bit, and I think it definitely took quite some convincing to get started on TikTok.
Okay.
Yeah, we had.
Was that because maybe the target audience was still too young, or was it like also the workload, I guess? Like, how would you guys manage it?
I mean, I think really was, I think the workload was like the concern a bit, but also obviously there are some TikTok biases that I think, I mean, we see from the people we talked about TikTok as well. We see it internally in the team still. Yeah. Like anyone who's unfamiliar with the platform and who's been on the platform and spent time there and like been hooked, don't see the opportunities and like the diversity of content there, which I think was really I spoke to a guy from like a journaling app company, got set up by one of my colleagues, and he just, really sold TikTok and more or less like forced me to jump in, and I got hooked and saw the potential, and also saw that like obviously being a speaker brand, music brand, it makes sense. It's a huge win-win.
I mean, in terms of social, it's only YouTube and TikTok that are kind of sound on to start, right? Like maybe Snapchat as well, but so it actually fits really well with, I think, like you said, the brand that you guys have and the product that you sell. Right. So I think that's also, and I also think that a lot of brands are recognizing that, okay, we're spending a ton of money on social content where there is sound, and we're kind of forced to do subtitles and all this kind of stuff and sort of make our way around it for these other platforms. Why aren't we just, using the content that we have that has these abilities on the TikTok platform? So I think that's quite cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Also for Instagram and TikTok, obviously they have a really powerful sense of community of creating these kind of communities, and I think that's also a huge win for you guys, since you're really, all your content and initiatives really are focused on building communities. Can you speak a little bit into that, of how you engage your communities online? Yeah,
definitely. What we do right now is actually quite different from what we've done in the past. I think, obviously we've been through different stages of how we perceived our brand and how we, strategized implementing our idea of a brand. And I think it's gone from really like us trying to drive a certain lifestyle, a certain like aspiration from like our in-house team and our, select few partners. And I think that the realization we made is, one, that we don't want to dictate, the lifestyle of our consumer. It's a fairly multifaceted product, so we need to really diversify that and see our product more so as a blank canvas, and maybe our brand and our platforms as a blank canvas. And I think,
so you're not like trying to like tell everybody, okay, you need to be this hippie beach going something. Right. You can use SOUNDBOKS like if you're this person or that person, or like a diversification sort of thing. Right. Yeah. Okay, exactly. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I think that, it's obviously a terrifying realization when you've like been able to just communicate one thing or like one narrative around your brand, and then realizing, okay, we actually have 1,000 use cases and 1,000 different ways that we can go. I think the way we've approached it is that we've established these brand experience partnership teams who locally work with agencies that have a really strong footing in different subcultures. Right. And then our sort of level of curation is the subcultures. And then we basically brief out to agencies. They bring us ambassadors, we call them hosts. And then we make sure it's people who like have an everyday life or an interest within a subculture where they can activate the product. Yeah. And that's the meat of everything that we do.
Yeah, I think it's a super smart tactic. And I think as we see the sort of like marketing landscape changing to be about diversity, and we can see that like there's a lot of discussion about how brands can get different voices in, different perspectives in, and I think a lot of them will start to adopt this style that you're thinking about or have successfully done, which is basically tapping into these subcultures, finding the right ambassadors in those subcultures, because they are, those are the natives within that tribe. Right. Then we should be using them and not trying to like, I say infiltrate the tribe. You're basically saying like, we are part of this group as well. So I think it's a very smart tactic, and you're going to see this play out probably even in corporate cultures, like, Fortune 500 companies, oil companies, boring accounting firms, whatever it is on their marketing side, bringing in these different sort of subcultures and genres. Yeah. So it's very cool. Very cool.
I agree. I mean, I think it's the first time we've really found, I mean, it's a fairly expensive product we're selling ultimately. So, I mean, we looked into this whole idea of like influence marketing and micro-influencers, and like basically the game plan you get served when you talk to agencies in the startup phase of your business. And we're like, this just does not apply to us in any way. Right. And have always been looking for this, let's say, fairly unscalable thing, and like how could we do that at scale? And I think especially leaving behind a little bit of the pride that you take in in-housing everything, which we did, and actually partnering with agencies who then come with this cultural capital and the entries into all these subcultures was just a whole new world for us.
So brands, if you're listening, agencies are good. We can help you, I swear. Not all of us are evil.
Yes, this is not sponsored.
We didn't pay him to say this, I swear.
There's no SOUNDBOKS in the back.
Exactly. No, it would be the other way. We're paying him to say these things. Yeah, but that's good to hear. A lot of brands, I mean, there's always the in-house, out-house model, and I think it's always a combination of the two that works the best. You have to have a really strong internal team, specifically on social, because it isn't. I made a post the other day on Instagram, which was like, I saw a job posting for a social media manager, and it was like, hey, we want a social media manager that is, really great at project management, super creative, good at creating content, video editing, knows their way around paid media, can teach the rest of our teams how to do this, and is also good at community management. And I'm like, that's 5 people. You are hiring one person for a 5-person job. You're crazy. And so I think that, you do need to have that big team, or not big team, but you need to have a solid team internally to take all these things. Because if you were going to outsource that entire thing, you'd be broke. You'd be spending all your money at agencies. So, and that doesn't make sense either. So I do believe it's a combination. So
definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Have you seen any significant changes in the community? I mean, you've been with SOUNDBOKS for quite a few years now, and the digital space has evolved, and I could imagine you have also, but I could also imagine your followers, your community also kind of changed.
Yeah, for sure.
Your audience.
Think our audience has changed, our approach has changed, and I think it's again back to our own perception of the brand and us trying to force a narrative. I think we try to find the people within our customer base, our product community, and try to enforce this lifestyle. And I think the big realization for us is really yes, we have a product community, and that started way back in the Kickstarter days. They started Facebook groups per country and have a really strong, there are moderators, there are people who give solid advice and actually do, community support for us. And that was really good. And we always in the beginning thought of those communities as our community strategy essentially. But I think the big realization is back to the SOUNDBOKS host is that we were more so in a lifestyle sense. I would call it a community of communities, and we don't have to bring everyone together on one platform. I mean, we have a physical product that manifests itself in the real world, and those are the communities that we're building essentially, and we can obviously highlight that on social, but the community is not as much an online community anymore. It's a real world, authentic community of communities, which I think is really the big change for us. And then our platforms change from community management to
whether it's TikTok or Instagram or
collecting everything that's happening in the real world and showing it, which is then the easy part. I think
that's
we've made our the job for our SOMI team extremely easy.
In some ways, because you do have, I mean, it's an attractive product. It's visual, you can clearly see when it's a SOUNDBOKS product versus everyone else. So it has its own look and feel, and it's also, I think people want to take photos with it. It's a weird sort of thing. It feels like it's not like nobody's over there. No offense to our speaker, and but when I bought it, people are like, "Why the hell didn't you buy a SOUNDBOKS?" And I'm like, I don't know. it was a bad decision. Okay, I should have bought a SOUNDBOKS, because then people will actually take pictures of it. It's like a piece of furniture in some ways. Like
Yeah,
it
it
has
is,
this.
I think.
It has this sort of iconic sensibility to it, so it generates social content in itself,
Right.
the product, which is, I think, interesting.
I think also that kind of influences in the visual you also use and post on your social media. Like you use it like decoration. It is people in actual situations in a certain kind of lifestyle where you see that manifest in real life. So you kind of also imagine and picture yourself standing around it in a living room, in a festival, whatever situation, right?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, one thing that we've done very consciously is also tailor the product design in a way that you can actually customize it, which then adds a new layer. I think for us, that's probably been the biggest UGC driver, is people being able to put their own artwork on it, and really back to this idea of a canvas.
Yeah,
I think that's and then the fact that you can sit on it, obviously. I think.
Yeah, that makes when you can sit on things, it's always good.
We name ourselves the #1 Bluetooth speaker you can sit on every single year.
Yeah,
and we've done it for 4 years now. I hope it catches on. We need some competition in that.
Somebody should make more speakers that you can sit on, actual seats on them.
Maybe Chris will not be doing agency work anymore.
No, I'll be competing with you guys.
Yes.
Makes seat speakers.
No, I actually want to know, you guys, maybe you can ping pong about this actually. Like, where do you think there's most potential in, what's the opportunity you see in the platform to use, and where do you wish you would expand a little or explore a little bit more, maybe, like as a brand?
I think for us, and not that we haven't cracked. I mean, obviously TikTok is early stages. I think it's looking very promising, and we haven't started the paid side of things, which is also going to be very interesting. Yeah. But for us, and for me personally, YouTube is really the tough one to crack. Yeah. I think we have great video content done by our creative team. We roll out campaigns paid on YouTube, but like the
YouTube organic's pretty elusive for most brands. Yeah, I think it's because it's been so dominated by influencers, right? Like it's hard to tap into that. But I mean, like using influencer marketing, of course, like going to some of the biggest channels that would have your guys' influencer or audience rather, and really sponsoring them. And I'm sure you've done some of that, but I mean, there's a ton of opportunities there. But I do agree, it's something that a lot of brands come to us for and say, like, how do you guys break this, sort of crack this nut? And we have a few makeup brands. It's easy with tutorials. It's easy with, like, makeup is so into YouTube culture that it's quite, simple and structured. But for a sound or for a speaker company, it's like, what the hell do we do here? Like, you know what I mean? So I feel your pain. It's a tough one. Yeah,
and I think, my reference has always been Moment, like the lenses for smartphones, and they basically had an in-house vlog team, right? Vlogging constantly and giving advice and like becoming actually an authority in tech gear. Yeah, which is kind of
creator space as well, though, right? Like YouTube has so many creator, pockets, so it's easier. So maybe it's that, like, it's really. Could be music creators, could be that sort of thing. Right. Could be that, those people that are creating events or creating, things that require sound. Maybe that's like an interesting angle. But I agree, it's a tough one on the organic side, like super tough.
It is. I mean, it quickly becomes, it could book our creative team for a good portion of a year to like do it. Probably, I think is our biggest roadblock. But I really like the music, and that's also what we're doing on TikTok. Yeah. I mean, the amount of like illegal mashups and songs you haven't heard but you should listen to. I mean, there's so many people curating music on TikTok, and I think initially we thought dance would be the big thing, but really it's about the music, and I think that's hard ticket.
Okay, so dance, you thought that was going to be something that would be big for you guys?
Yeah,
because of TikTok. The dance sort of aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's central to the platform, and we thought, music, dance, it's, put it in the background, and it's there like a Bang energy drink or whatever else people put there, and it would actually kind of fit organically, but I think it's not close enough to the product that it really like drives interest.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
But it could give us some good visibility, so it's, we're still exploring.
Still exploring it. Okay, cool.
Great. So let's finish up with this question.
No, we're just not. We have another question.
Oh, okay. You have another question.
I do have a question. I'm going to throw him a curveball.
Okay.
What has been the biggest mistake you've made?
So me wise?
Yeah, or or not mistake, but like something you wish, like, okay, I wish we would have done this one differently. This
Professionally, you mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna really put him on the spot here.
There's a long list. I mean,
There's a long list. I like that.
I mean, I think
I like that answer.
our founders were 18, 19 years old when they started. It was
young.
like a party-centric brand. I think that's a recipe for disaster. I think the era of being party-centric and like the amount of, content that focused around this idea of like being the king of the party and like this really macho kind of.
It's kind of not. I guess
really.
It's something that's held on
It
to
was
you guys for a
forced. It was like I think we still have an element of douchebag perception in certain circles.
Yeah.
Some of the mainstream awareness we get here in Denmark, I definitely think still.
Is that because the speaker gets so freaking loud that it's like?
I mean,
it has
can
that
easily
aspect.
come off obnoxious for sure. And I think like what music comes out and the fact that it's also 16-year-olds, mainly guys running around with their speakers trying to like get some attention and like. I think it's very natural and like that's how young kids should be, but I think it can tip over and it definitely leaves its mark on our brand. And I think back then we really thought that was like what we needed to explore that part of it, but obviously with us maturing and the brand maturing, I think I
think it's not a mistake, it's an evolution. And I think and finding those core customers, and they probably were, because they were so out there with the product, it probably helped you guys actually get out there with the product.
100%.
Right? So, when you see somebody in a Christiania bike with it in the front, creating a lot of noise, that's also good for the brand in some ways, right? But also a little bit douchey. Yeah. So it's kind of a mix, right? Like, what do you do with that? So I think, but it
matter
makes
of balance.
I like that answer a lot. Yeah. Good
Great.
one.
So where do you think SOUNDBOKS is headed in the future?
I mean, I know a little bit about where we're headed, and
I can't say anything.
but mostly maybe just in the digital space. Then let's keep it at that.
Yeah, I think there are some digital things. Obviously, we have with the newer generations of the product, we have an app, which is a whole new world, a whole new ocean of possibilities, especially when it comes to community building. I think we've been fairly limited to, obviously we're doing offline stuff, but otherwise been limited to non-proprietary channels, and now we actually have a place where people go in on their phone to set up their speaker or set up the equalizer, or they actively use an app with the loudspeaker, which to us just speaks that there's a lot of potential, and I think that's something I know.
You can use that data for further product development and for further tuning of the speaker and all that.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've always wanted to kind of establish some sort of forum, like a little bit of like a proprietary version of the Facebook community groups, but where we also introduce the lifestyle aspects of what we're doing. I think that's still an interesting idea. I don't think we've necessarily cracked the code on how to do it, but I don't know. I think TikTok will be the next like short-term big investment for us. I think there's a huge potential.
Yeah, we do too.
Yeah.
That's why
I about to say.
I just heard you have a TikTok team.
Yeah. We've doubled down on tripled down on TikTok because I think we've been working with it since 2019, but just in the last 6-8 months, we've just seen it's going insane, right? And every brand is wanting to talk about it and has an interest in it. Maybe not jumping in, but they're like, what is going on here? Please keep us updated. So, we've been quite happy with doing that and expanding the team. And I think we're now 4 people just dedicated to TikTok, which is quite fantastic. It's cool. We see a lot there, especially on the paid side. The paid numbers that we're pulling out of it are nuts.
I've heard.
Really great numbers.
It's a whole new market, so it's
and the influencers are way cheaper than Instagram at the moment because they haven't really, that network.
Don't know their worth yet.
Well, no, they do know their worth, but I think that they also understand that. I also think that some Instagram influencers are way overpriced. That's right. I'm talking to you people, whoever's watching. There are just too many. So Ari's like hiding. Are you an Instagram influencer? Are you getting paid? But I think that there's some overpriced ones, and I think there's some you can find some really good priced influencers on TikTok still. So I think that's the nice thing about it. So TikTok,
it's just, I mean, the platform to have fun, and I think we've also been a bit serious about our SoMe game. I think we're getting to a place where we're having fun with it.
You doing? I know you mentioned that you're also working on brand partnerships. So is there like a brand that you would love to partner with that you think, okay, this would be cool?
Yeah, we have a list.
We've just done some streetwear.
We've done some streetwear. Yeah. We recently did Woodward and Division, and Pigalle in Paris, which I mean for me is
really cool.
They've been on the list for a very long time, but I think I would love to do Lego. Yeah, I would love to go very out on a different path.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Danish brand. I think they are playful by nature. I think we've seen some cases of them also doing some very surprising collaborations. I would love to see a one-to-one SOUNDBOKS and Lego.
I think that's a great idea.
That's the bucket list.
It'll happen. I can see it. It's the future.
Easy.
Lego.
Yeah. So Lego, if you're listening, we'll tag Lego and say we need a full-scale Lego SOUNDBOKS, right? Yeah. Vote in the comments below. Do you want to see a full-scale SOUNDBOKS in Lego? Everyone's nodding their head here. Yes, we definitely want to see that. So please comment, like, share with your Lego friends.
Yeah. And with that, I think we have what we need. Thank you for sharing.
Of course, thanks
for coming. It's been really insightful and great.
Yes,
it's great to be here.
Looking forward to the Lego SOUNDBOKS.
Same.
Yes.
Great. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. You don't want to do an outro? You usually do an outro.
Okay, an outro. All right, see you guys. Take care. See you guys next week. Next week we have what's on next week.
Do you really want to reveal that?
Yes, I do. What? Because it might not happen.
Yeah, no. It might happen, but it just like then you can't rearrange.
I'm gonna force you guys to get it done.
It is.
What is happening next week?
It's Salesforce. We have Mikkel.
We have Mikkel from Salesforce coming to talk about communities and how Salesforce uses marketing to sell more CRM solutions. Should be riveting. So, yes, great. See you guys next time. Like, subscribe, hit the like button 1,000 times, hit the dislike button as well 1,000 times, and we will see you in the next one.
Yeah, thank you for listening and watching.
Adios.
Bye.
This has been the Social Media Sucks Podcast.